So, there's been some early talk about a new character coming in version 3.7. Her name is CYRENE, and while we haven't seen her in-game yet, the leaks are already painting a pretty exciting picture. If you've seen any mentions of her floating around, you might have heard she's being designed as a top-tier support for the upcoming 5-star March 7th, Atyphia form, who's expected to release just one patch earlier in 3.6. But even if you haven't heard anything yet, don't worry. In this video, I'll walk you through everything we currently know, explain how her mechanics work, why she's a big deal for Remembrance teams, and what kind of playstyle she might bring once she arrives. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description. Now, none of this is officially confirmed by Hoyoverse yet, so keep that in mind. Things can definitely change before release. But based on the current info, CYRENE is a 5-star ice character on the path of Remembrance. What really makes her stand out, though, is that she's said to use territory-style mechanics. That might not mean much if you're new to the game, so let me explain. In Honkai Star Rail, a territory is a type of skill effect that creates a persistent zone or field on the battlefield, altering how combat plays out. Right now, only CYRENE uses this type of mechanic officially, and Phanon is expected to use a similar concept once he drops. And just like with CYRENE, the leak mentions that only one territory can exist at a time, so characters who rely on territories can't really work together in the same team. You'd have to choose one. That could lead to some interesting team-building decisions if you already use CYRENE, or if you're planning to build around Phanon. But apparently CYRENE's territory is going to be on a whole other level in terms of visuals and possibly gameplay impact. The source specifically points out that her visual effects will be much more polished and striking than the zones we've seen with characters like Tribi or Ruin Mei, which honestly weren't that flashy. So it sounds like Hoyoverse might be going all in on her presentation, possibly trying to make her a really memorable unit. And that leads into another interesting point. There's talk that CYRENE will be heavily promoted by the developers. Again, not confirmed, but it sounds a lot like the kind of marketing push we saw with units like Castoris or Phanon. If that's true, we can probably expect teaser trailers, flashy banners, maybe even lore tie-ins to build hype leading into July 3rd. Now here's where it gets even more interesting. She's being called the best support for the new March 7th, specifically her Atyphia form that's coming in version 3.6. If you missed that, Atyphia is basically a completely reimagined version of March 7th. She's a 5-star Remembrance ice unit with a whole new role and kit. Now let's talk about her model. This part might sound small, but trust me, for some players it's a big deal. It's said that CYRENE will use the tall female model, which already puts her in the same size class as characters like Kafka or Firefly. But more importantly, she'll share design elements with Elysia, Herrscher of Human Ego from Honkai Impact. That means we might be looking at a very elegant, possibly divine-looking aesthetic, which honestly fits the whole Remembrance plus ice vibe really well. Oh, and one last thing that caught my attention. She'll have 2 forms. Now, what exactly that means is still unclear. Is it a 2 forms like Dan Heng Imbibitor Lunai? Or maybe some kind of transformation like Phanon? We don't know yet. But if she really has 2 forms, there's definitely going to be some unique gameplay mechanics baked in. Again, not confirmed, but worth keeping an eye on. Oh, and here's something that might blow up even more once we get closer to her release. There's a rumor floating around that CYRENE is a throne-level emanator. Now, if you're not deep into the lore, that might sound confusing, but here's what it means. In Honkai Star Rail, emanators are basically powerful beings who act as extensions of the Aeons, almost like they're chosen agents or avatars. But a throne-level emanator? That's supposedly a much higher tier. The term throne suggests dominion or near-divine authority, someone who's not just channeling the Aeon's power, but actually rules over a piece of that ideology. It's not officially explained in-game yet. But if CYRENE really holds that kind of status, she could be one of the most important lore characters we've seen. not just a strong unit, but someone tied directly to the bigger cosmic narrative, possibly even Amphorius and beyond. So overall, if all of this holds up, CYRENE could become a cornerstone for Remembrance comps, especially if you're planning to pull for March 7th Atifia. What do you think? Do you like the sound of a high-impact ice support with territory mechanics and a possible transformation? Let me know in the comments. And if you want to see more updates as we learn about her kit or the 3.7 banner lineups, make sure to stick around. I'll be covering it all here. Save up to 25% on the current banners at lootbar.gg. All you need is your UID and server. The link is in the description.